job. If the old man hadn't sent us relief, Thorne and I would have thrown up the whole thing in another 4 weeks. I'll warrant you'll get your everlasting fill of log shanties and half-breeds and moose meat and this infernal snow and ice before spring comes. But I don't want to discourage you." "Can't discourage me," laughed Howland cheerfully. "You know I never cared much for theaters and girls," he added slyly, giving Gregson a good-natured nudge. "How about 'em up here?" "Nothing. Not a cursed thing." Suddenly his eyes lighted up. "By George, Howland, but I did see the prettiest girl I ever laid my eyes on today. I'd give a box of pure Havanas, and we haven't had one for a month, if I could know who she is." They had entered through the low door of the log boarding house, and Gregson was throwing off his heavy coat. "A tall girl, with a fur hat and muff?" queried Howland eagerly. "Nothing of the sort. She was a typical Northerner if there ever was one. Straight as a birch, dressed in fur cap and coat, short caribou skin skirt and moccasins, and with a braid hanging down her back as long as my arm. Lord, but she was pretty." "Isn't there a girl somewhere up around our camp named Meleese?" asked Howland casually. "Never heard of her," said Gregson. "Or a man named Croisset?" "Never heard of him." "The deuce, but you're interesting," laughed the young engineer, sniffing at the odors of cooking supper. "I'm as hungry as a bear." From outside there came the sharp cracking of a sledge driver's whip, and Gregson went to one of the small windows looking out upon the clearing. In another instant he sprang toward the door, crying out to Howland: "By the God of love, there she is, old man! Quick, if you want to get a glimpse of her!" He flung the door open, and Howland hurried to his side. There came another crack of the whip, a loud shout, and a sledge drawn by 6 dogs sped past them into the gathering gloom of the early night. From Howland's lips, too, there fell a sudden cry, for one of the 2 faces that were turned toward him for an instant was that of Croisset, and the other, white and staring as he had seen it that first night in Prince Albert, was the face of the beautiful girl who had lured him into the ambush on the Great North Trail. Chapter 5. Recording by Roger Moline.